The Ford F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America for nearly 50 years running, which means there are more used ones for sale right now than just about anything else on the road. And scattered through that pile are a few specific model years that will quietly drain 4 and 5 figures out of your wallet, parked one row over from the years that run past 300,000 miles without complaint. Same truck, same blue oval on the grille. The whole difference is the model, year, and almost nobody shopping one knows how to tell them apart. So let us go through them. The years to avoid first. First on the avoid list is the most common trap you will scroll past on a used lot, because Ford sold these by the hundreds of thousands. The 2011 through 2014 F-150, specifically the one with the first-generation 3.5-liter EcoBoost Vibe 6 under the hood. On paper it was the future, a twin-turbo 6 that pulled like a V8 and drank fuel like a 6. The early ones did not age that way. Start with a problem that sounds almost made up until it happens to you. On the 2011 through 2013 trucks, the intercooler that cools the turbocharged air would let condensation collect inside it. Cruise easy on a damp morning and you feel nothing. Then you floor it to merge, or you pull a trailer up a grade, and that pooled water gets swallowed into the engine all at once. The truck stumbles, misfires, and can drop into a limp mode right there in traffic with a horn going off behind you. Ford issued a service bulletin on it which tells you exactly how common it was. That is the one you feel. The one that costs is underneath. These early EcoBoosts are known for the timing chain stretching out, often right around the 90,000 mile mark, and a stretched chain drags the cam timing out with it and sets off a rattle at startup. Ignore it and you are risking the whole engine. Fix it correctly, chains, tensioners, phasers, all of it, and you are looking at $3,000 to $6,000. One owner posted a dealer quote of $6,182 for exactly that job. Here is the part that saves you, and it becomes the theme of this entire video. In those same model years, Ford also sold a 5-liter V8, and that engine is golden. So the 2011 to 2014 trucks are not all cursed. The body is fine. The truck is fine. It is the first-generation EcoBoost, specifically, that you either walk away from or only buy with that timing job already done and printed on a receipt. The second warning jumps forward a few years, to 2017 and 2018. And this time, the trouble is not the engine, it is what Ford bolted on behind it. For 2017, the F-150 got a brand new 10-speed automatic transmission, and brand new is the operative phrase. Owners started complaining almost the day the trucks reached the road. The 10-speed would shift harshly and erratically, clunking between gears, hesitating when you asked for power, and every so often slamming down a gear hard enough that drivers described it as getting rear-ended from the inside. Some reported the truck lunging, some reported losing power mid-drive. Ford began issuing bulletins to recalibrate the transmission as early as the spring of 2018, which means the company knew the behavior was real and was chasing it. It went well past a few annoyed owners. The transmission became the subject of a class action lawsuit covering the 2017 through 2020 trucks, alleging the shifting problem was a genuine defect, and as of this year, that case is still alive in the courts. This is not a settled, fixed and forgotten issue. It is an open question hanging over those exact model years. Now the honest version, because this channel does not run on panic. The early 10-speed will not strip you for parts the way a snapped timing chain will. A lot of these trucks got better after the recalibrations, and plenty of owners drive them every day with no drama at all. But understand what you are buying. A truck that launched with a known transmission problem and a lawsuit attached to it, where the worst examples are the early 2017 and 2018 builds from before Ford had years to massage the software. If you are set on one, put it on a lift and have the transmission checked by someone who knows the truck, and confirm every recalibration bulletin has actually been performed before you sign anything. The third truck to avoid is the newest one on this list, and that is precisely what makes it sneaky, because new is supposed to mean safe. the 2021 F-150 with the PowerBoost hybrid. 2021 was the launch of the current 14th generation truck, and the headline feature was the first hybrid F-150 ever built, the PowerBoost, a gas Vibe 6 paired with an electric motor that could even run your house during a blackout. Great idea. Rough execution. Consumer Reports, the outfit that surveys hundreds of thousands of owners every year, named the PowerBoost the single least reliable new vehicle it tracked, and not for 1 year, for 3 years running. The reliability scores it handed that truck were 4, then 7, then 19, out of a possible 100. Those are not below average numbers, those are basement numbers. What actually broke? Owners reported trouble with the hybrid system itself, with the transmission, the in-vehicle electronics, the climate control, the drive system, the expensive, complicated hardware, the kind that turns into a dealer-only repair the day the warranty lapses, and the launch year carried more than that. The 14th generation truck was swept into a recall covering more than 870,000 F-150s over an electric parking brake that could engage itself while the truck was rolling down the road. So here is the read for a used buyer. The 14th generation F-150 becomes a genuinely good truck in a year or two, and I am going to recommend it later in this very video. But the very first model year, paired with the brand new hybrid powertrain, was the worst possible combination, an unproven generation wrapped around an unproven system. If you want one of these trucks, the move is simple. Skip the 2021 PowerBoost and get a gas engine instead. The 5-liter V8 or the 2.7 EcoBoost. New does not mean proven, and that launch year is the proof. And the worst F-150 years of all are the oldest ones in this video. The model years 2004 through 2010, any one of them carrying the 5.4-liter Triton 3-valve V8. This is the engine that built the F-150's money pit reputation, and it earned it 2 separate ways. The first is the spark plugs, and it is almost hard to believe. Ford used a 2-piece spark plug in these heads, and over time carbon bakes into the gap and cements the plug into the engine. So you go to do a routine tune-up, the kind of job that should cost a couple $100, and the plug snaps clean in half on the way out. Now half of it is lodged deep in the cylinder head, and your mechanic is delicately extracting broken metal out of an aluminum head, cylinder by cylinder, however many it happens to. The standing advice on these trucks is to change the plugs before 60,000 miles just to beat the carbon. And even that is not a guarantee you get them all out whole. The second problem is the cam phasers. These engines are famous for a loud knocking rattle at cold startup that sounds exactly like a diesel, and the part causing it gave Ford so much grief that the company revised the design over and over across the life of the engine. Leave it alone, and it gets worse and can do real internal damage, and a proper phaser repair runs $3,000 to $4,500 at a shop. On a 15-year-old truck, that is frequently more than the truck is even worth. And then there is 2004 specifically, which holds the actual title of the worst F-150 ever built. It was the launch of a new generation, and it launched broken. It piled up well over 1,000 owner complaints and 16 separate recalls, with power windows that would not roll up, gas tank straps that rusted through and let go, and engine trouble, stacked on top of the spark plug mess. 2010 was the relapse at the far end of the run, the most complained about F-150 since 2005. These trucks look like incredible deals, and that is the whole trap. A clean, good-looking F-150 from this era for a few $1,000s is exactly the bait. Buy one with the 5.4 under the hood, and you are not saving money, you are scheduling a 4-figure engine bill you cannot see yet. Walk past every single one that does not have the phaser work and the plug work already done and documented. Quick break before the good news, because the second half of this video is where the money actually gets saved. If this rundown has already crossed one bad year off your shopping list, the like button is the one signal YouTube actually pays attention to, and it cost you a thumb. And if you want this same year-by-year teardown for the Chevy Silverado and the Ram before you go cross-shop them, that is exactly what the subscribe button gets you. Now, the F-150 years that are genuinely worth your money. The best years open with the truck that finally got the aluminum F-150 right, 2020. A little context first. The 13th generation truck, the 2015 through 2020 run, was the one that switched the F-150 to an aluminum body, and the early years of it had the growing pains you would expect, the launch bugs, plus the first messy seasons of that very 10-speed we just covered. By the time the generation reached its final year, Ford had worked most of it out. 2020 is the one model year of that generation that gets recommended without an asterisk hanging off it, the version with the most miles of quiet refinement baked in. The engine guidance matters here as much as the year does. Steer around the troubled stuff, and the pick of the litter is the 2.7-liter EcoBoost, a smaller twin-turbo 6 that has quietly turned into one of the most dependable engines Ford builds. J.D. Power scored the F-150 with that engine 82 out of 100 for dependability, comfortably above the rest of the segment. The 5-liter V8 is the other safe call. Either one, in a 2020 truck, hands you the modern cabin, the driver assist tech, and a body that has now proven it holds up, without the first-year gremlins. For the buyer who wants a recent F-150 without paying current truck prices, this is the value sweet spot. It is everywhere on the used market, it is affordable now that it has a few years on it, and it is the 1 year of the aluminum generation where you are not gambling on which bugs got fixed and which did not. Get the 2.7 or the 5-liter, and a 2020 is a truck you can buy with real confidence. The second best buy is the newest one, the truck still sitting on showroom floors. The 2022 through 2024 F-150. This is the same 14th generation truck whose launch year I told you to avoid, and that is not a contradiction. It is the entire point of buying a year or two into a generation instead of on day one. By the 2022 through 2024 model years, the redesign had settled all the way down. The engineering issues that nagged the older trucks, the 5 liters oil consumption complaints, the older EcoBoost's timing headaches, were sorted out on this generation of engines. Consumer Reports, the same publication that buried the launch year hybrid, came back and scored the 2024 F-150 in the low 40s out of 100 for reliability, a clear step up, with some of the lowest ownership costs in the recent lineup. Same engine advice as before, and it is worth repeating because it is the single most important choice you make on one of these trucks. The 5-liter V8 and the 2.7 EcoBoost are the proven low-drama picks. The one to keep avoiding, even in these good years, is the PowerBoost Hybrid, the engine that earned its own warning earlier in this video. What you get for stepping up to a 2022 through 2024 is a truck that is still genuinely modern, very often still carrying a chunk of the factory warranty, riding on a platform that has already had its early bugs beaten out of it by the people who bought first. You let somebody else be the test subject for the new generation, and then you step in once it is proven. Pick the right engine, and these are the best new truck feel F-150s you can buy without taking on launch year risk. And the single best used F-150 year takes us all the way back to 2013 and 2014, with one specific engine bolted in. The 5-liter Coyote V8. Remember the very first truck on the avoid list, the 2011 to 2014 EcoBoost, with the timing chain bill waiting at 90,000 miles? This is its stablemate. The exact same truck, the exact same model years, with a completely different engine under the hood, and it is everything the EcoBoost is not. The 5-liter Coyote is naturally aspirated, which is a plain way of saying no turbos to fail, no charge air cooler to flood, no high-pressure plumbing to spring a leak. It is a simple, strong V8, and in these early years it burns almost no oil between changes and routinely runs 200,000, even 300,000 miles on nothing but basic maintenance. That is the payoff of this whole video standing in a single spot. 2013 and 2014 are at the same time a year to avoid and the best year to buy, and the only thing that flips it from one to the other is the engine listed on the window sticker. The EcoBoost is the gamble. The Coyote is the gem. Same badge, same body, same model year, opposite ownership experience. There is more going for these trucks than just the engine too. They come from before the aluminum, switch and before the 10-speed, so they ride on the older steel body and the proven 6-speed automatic, which is 2 fewer brand new variables to lose sleep over. They are old enough now to be genuinely cheap. And the one weak spot people will bring up on the Coyote, an oil consumption issue, belongs to the later version of that engine, the 2018 to 2020 trucks, not the 2013 and 2014 one. This early Coyote is the clean one. So if you want the simplest possible answer to this entire video, here it is. Find a 2013 or 2014 F-150 with the 5-liter V8, get it inspected by a mechanic you trust, change the oil on schedule, and you have just bought one of the most durable trucks Ford has ever put on the road, for a fraction of what the new ones are asking. So line the whole thing up, and the F-150 tells you one simple truth. The best-selling truck in America is not really one truck. It is a couple of decades of very different trucks wearing the same name, and the model year is the line between a workhorse and a wallet drain. Avoid the 5.4 Triton years, 2004 through 2010. Avoid the first-generation EcoBoost from 2011 to 2014, the early 10-speed trucks from 2017 and 2018, and the 2021 hybrid that launched the new generation. Then go buy a 2020 or a 2022 through 2024 with a gas engine, or the one that quietly beats all of them, a 2013 or 2014 with the 5-liter Coyote V8. The badge never told you a word of that. The model year and the engine tell you everything. So let us settle the engine argument in the comments, because it is the one that genuinely matters on these trucks. If you had to trust one of them to 200,000 miles, which are you taking? The old-school 5-liter Coyote V8 or the modern 2.7 EcoBoost? Put your pick and your reasoning in a comment below. The people down there have owned both of them hard, and that thread is worth more than any spec sheet I could read you.